Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a humble potter who made clay pots. He was very good at what he did. Each pot he made was beautiful and useful, and the people of the village loved his work. They used his pots for cooking, for storage, and for carrying water. Now, the potter had two pots that he used to carry water from a stream that was far from his home. One of the pots was perfectly made. It was flawless and strong. The other pot had a small crack in it. It leaked water on every trip. Every day, the two pots would walk together along the path to the stream. They would fill up with water and then start the long walk home. But by the time they reached the potter's home, it was only half full. The perfect pot, on the other hand, was always brimming with water, because the water that leaked out of the cracked pot watered the flowers growing by the side of the path. Every day, the cracked pot felt ashamed. It saw how much water it wasted and how it let the potter down. At the same time, it couldn't help but notice how beautiful the flowers looked. But it never stopped to think that maybe it was the cracked pot that made them so pretty. One day, the cracked pot finally worked up the courage to speak. It said to the potter, "I'm sorry, I'm flawed, and I waste your effort. I'm not as good as the perfect pot." The potter smiled warmly at the pot. "Have you ever noticed the path we walk?" he asked. The cracked pot shook its head. It was too ashamed to look back. So the potter said, "On your side of the path, there are flowers that bloom all the way from our home to the stream. I planted those seeds there, and every day you water them without even knowing it." The cracked pot slowly turned to look at the path, and what it saw made it gasp. There was a colorful trail of blossoms following their path to the stream. The cracked pot had never noticed this before. It had been too focused on its own flaws and the water it wasted. The potter continued, "Your flaw brought beauty to the world. Without your crack, this path would be bare." The cracked pot looked at the potter, then at the flowers, and finally at the perfect pot. It realized that even though it wasn't perfect, it still had a purpose. It may have leaked water, but that water had made beautiful flowers grow. It had brought color and life to the world. From that day on, the cracked pot walked a little taller. It was still a flawed pot, but it no longer saw that as a bad thing. In fact, it was proud of its crack. It was a reminder that even when things seemed dark and difficult, there was always something good to be found if you just looked for it. And that's the story of the potter and the cracked pot. Now, before we go, here's your reminder to stay tuned for more stories like this one. Also, please share this video with your friends and family. Who knows, they might find some unexpected value in it too. And that's all for today. Until next time, keep an eye out for the beauty in your everyday life. It might just be waiting for you to discover it.